Next question is from Liam Crothers.
I'm a tradesman and I work in a physically demanding job, and I have done since I left school at 16. I think I will struggle to work in my job until I'm 70. People in other careers such as nursing, the police force and firemen may find themselves in the same position. These people need to be retrained to find less physical work. Does the government have strategies to help these people retain and find a job? And if they find a new job, it is safe to assume that they will have to start at the bottom. What support will the government supply to these people to continue to pay their bills? And also, are there further plans to increase the age that we can access our super?
Well, Liam, there's a few issues there. Firstly, you're right. When you're in a physically demanding industry, whatever it is, be it a plumber or a bricklayer, in some cases farmers, although I know a number of farmers that keep working until they're in their 70s and 80s. But the impact on your body is great. And the fact that we are living longer means we're going to have a number of careers during our lifetime. And inevitably, what we've got to do is change the mindset of business towards people over a certain age. I mean, your life doesn't end when you turn 50, and you certainly don't have to retire when you turn 65 or 70. Because if you choose to work, we want you to have the opportunity to work. One of the programs that we announced in the budget is that we are going to give business a $10,000 incentive to employ someone over the age of 50, right, who has been on New Start or disability support pension for 6 months. And that $10,000 is staggered over 2 years, so they've got to employ them for 2 years. And that $10,000 can be used by the business to help to retrain people. Now that's hugely important, help to retrain and reskill people. But there is an ingrained attitude in business that if you're over a certain age, you're not quite as vigorous or innovative as perhaps someone younger. That's dead wrong. And what we've got to do is change business attitudes as well.
Liam was asking how, well, go ahead, you can go back to it. Yeah, I think he was asking about how on earth people can work until they're 70.
Yeah, I'm aware of that policy and I think it's a good policy, but that goes to the employer. My question is about the employee. How are we supposed to get retrained? If I have a mortgage and kids and I start a new career at the bottom, how am I supposed to maintain my lifestyle as in paying a mortgage and bills and looking after the children when my wage will essentially be cut?
But you're right. And that has been an age-old problem. There's nothing new about that problem. I mean, builders, labourers, brickies have had bodies break down.
You're increasing the pension age to 70.
Well,
so it's going to be a bigger problem.
Well, hang on a sec. It's going to 70 in 21 years' time.
Yeah, it's going to affect me.
Okay, and... And when the previous government increased it to 67 in 2023, it is going to affect you too, sir.
Yeah, I'd ask the
it's
same
going to affect you too.
Well.
So,
okay, can I just ask the question, the obvious question? Is that sort of thing going to change the way you vote?
Yes and no. I'll always probably vote along Labor lines, but because I think they look after the Labor workers. That's what I think. But I wasn't happy when Kevin Rudd increased the age either. So that's a question to both parties. Regardless of who's in charge,
yeah.
It's a problem for both parties.
Sure. Well, Liam, it's 65 at the moment. It's going to 67, and superannuation obviously is kicking in. So we've got massive amount of private sector superannuation, which is increasing.
Which Paul Keating says, incidentally, is not going to last for these long-lived people.
I think
it's going to run out when people are in their 80s.
That may well be a legitimate point. That may well be a legitimate point. And retirement savings is a big issue that I think we need to have a national conversation about.
Which brings you to his other question, which was, are you thinking of changing the age at which you can access super?
Well, not at this particular point in time. And I'd say that...
So at what particular point in time? Because everyone would like to know that.
We'll have more to say about retirement incomes further down the track, right?
In this term?
Well, I suspect it will be in this term, because I think what we're trying to do is give people a long lead time, right? A long lead time. So to go from 67 in 2023, which Labor introduced, to 70 is a continuation of the trajectory that the previous government put in.
So it's on the cards that we could see in this term a change to the year, the age in which you can access your super.
Well, I think it's something that we need to have a proper process to discuss with all the affected stakeholders, particularly people like Liam.
But it sounds like it's on your mind.
It is on my mind, and it's on Tony Abbott's mind. We're thinking about how we're going to make sure that the quality of life for Australians into the future is sustainable.
Okay, let's go to our next question. It's from Stephen Green.
Evening, Jack. My question is, how are parliamentarians sharing the heavy lifting in this budget when a single pensioner who you've taken the concessional payment away from, which represents a 4% drop in the pension, and they also can't get a pension until they're between 65 and 70, depending on when they were born. How does that compare to, say, someone like Liberal MP Wyatt Roy, who only has his wage freeze for 12 months, and at the end of this term he can retire on a pension index for life?
Well, there's no 4% cut in pensions, so I'm sorry, but you're wrong. There's no cut in pensions.
That concession supplement is $867.
No, the pensioner concession supplement stays. It's not being changed at all. That is a load of codswallop. The pensioner concession payment stays, and the pensioners still get the energy supplement as well. So that's misinformation that is out there. In relation to Wyatt Roy, he doesn't qualify for any pension at the end of this term at all. He's going to have to be 65, and given he's the youngest member of Parliament, it's many years away. Or 70, whatever the case might be, as the retirement age. In relation to politicians,
and what would roughly
the Prime Minister and I took the decision, right, that we had to freeze politicians' salary increases this year. We did that. So that's a wage freeze, which is an actual freeze in perpetuity. Sorry, it means the base is lower forever in a politician's salary. We pay the extra 2% tax over 180,000, and the gold card is gone. The gold card is gone. So, you know, we are not holding ourselves up as saints. I can promise you that. But we are making a contribution.
Okay, so you want to get back in? Go ahead.
Are you saying that there's no parliamentarians who have left Parliament in the last 5 years who are now on a pension for the rest of their lives fully indexed?
Well, they may be, but Wyatt Roy is certainly
less
not.
Than 65 years.
But they may be, but that was an old scheme that was contributed to by those members of Parliament and public servants and others. So it's a contribution that is made at various times, and it's a defined benefit scheme under certain rules. Now, just as I wouldn't retrospectively change whatever scheme you may be in, it was closed. The scheme was closed, and new members like Wyatt Roy and Fiona Scott here in Penrith and others have the same scheme as everyone else in the community.
Okay, we've got time.